Hey guys, this video is about the stem and leaf plot. As we go through all these different kind of graphs, you'll see that the stem and leaf plot or stem and leaf graph, whatever you want to call it, is maybe different than what you saw in 5th grade. Then again, you may have seen it. So let's go through these. If you have not printed out your notes, you'll want to look and get those printed out so that you can follow along. If you're a packet student, this packet is available on Wednesday. Right now it's the 20th, but you're not going to get it till the 22nd. So in case you happen to see this video before the 22nd of April. So let's get going. It says data from a stem and leaf plot. I can interpret data and create a stem and leaf plot. A graph, which is what a stem and leaf plot is a visual representation of the relationship between data collected. Data is information that is collected about people, events, and objects. Frequency distribution is how many pieces of data are in each interval. So frequency distribution has to do with a histogram. We don't see that in this graph, but sometimes we'll talk about how the data is distributed, but the interval itself is actually part of the histogram. That's the only one that has intervals, okay? An outlier, we've talked about this one before. It's a value that is much higher or much lower than other values in a data set. Stem and leaf is a system where data is organized from least to greatest, and you'll see what I mean when we start talking about them. Stem and leaf, or the stem, are the digits of the greatest place value or values. Let me see if I can move this. Ooh, hey, it moves around. All right, that's nice. Okay. Leaf, the digits of the least place value of data. So sometimes the stem has more than one digit, and sometimes the leaf has more than one digit, but the stem is all the same place values and the leaf is all the same place values. So when it says place value, it could be more than one digit, okay? The digits of the greatest place values. Okay, so the key explains the number of the stem and leaf plot. Without a key, you can't read a stem and leaf. It's just not possible. So when you create a key, that's one of the biggest things is to understand what the key represents and how to write one. All right, so the process on how it works, here's the data set. Draw a vertical line and write the tens digits from least to greatest down the left. See how this one goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That tells me as the reader that I've got numbers that are single digits like 5 and 7, 2 and 3. And I have numbers that are 2-digit like 12 and 24 and 20 and 45. Okay. So it says, don't forget to write them in order from least to greatest. We always, always, always do that. And then always check for a key and use it if you are confused. So they wrote a key. So notice it says 2 in the stem column with a line and 7 in the leaf column equals 27. Okay. So come back and look at this if it's confusing, and it will definitely help you out. This page is so important. So let's look at the first one. Ooh, gotta move myself again. I've been moving all over the page. I'm gonna get dizzy. Oh, maybe not. Gotta be able to read it. A stem and leaf plot shows the number of calories in various snack foods. Interpret the data. We've got range, mode, and median. I'm gonna tell you now. Oh, never mind. That's on histogram. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. The number of calories in selected foods. So as you can see, we've got selected foods there. This doesn't have a key. I will tell you that this would read 240 calories, 244 calories, 244 calories, 248 calories. So it should have a key. Okay. So let's look at how this was worked out. It says interpret the data. It says the range. So we're going to take the biggest calorie count. That's always going to be the last one. 284 calories. So that's where the 284 came from. And then 240 is the smallest one. And so our range is 44. Our mode is, I like mode, but one of the biggest sixth grade mistakes is they'll circle these 3 zeros and call that the mode. But this is 240. This is 250. And so when it says mode is 244 and 250, that's because there's 2 4s here and 2 zeros here. So this is 244 twice, and this is 250 twice, okay? For median, what's median? Median is the middle, okay? So we cross them off and we find that 255 is in the middle. We write them in order from least to greatest, making sure we have the right. And it says make sure you put them in order from least to greatest. All right. Remember to always pause the video to catch up with your writing if you need to. That's not a problem. Jackson created a list with the amount of minutes that he spent on his homework this week. Jackson's teacher asked him to create a stem and leaf plot with the information. Use his data to represent a stem and leaf plot. I could easily ask you to do this for me, although I might be sad. But you never know, okay? So that is the problem itself. Let's see how it was solved. So we're going to create a what? A stem and leaf plot. So what's the first thing we do? Make sure you put them in order from least to greatest, even when the numbers are randomly written, okay? So we've got 25, 28, 29, 31, 31, 32, 37, 39, 45, 46. So our title is number of minutes spent on homework. We have stem, leaf. I call this my T chart, okay? The key is a 2 in the stem column, the bar, a 5 in the leaf column, equals 25 minutes. So the stem and leaf plot has 2, 3, and 4 in the stem column. And then it says 25, 28, 29, 31, 31, 32, 37, 39, 45, 46. And so that would be the complete answer for that problem. Remember to pause the video to make your paper look like mine. This one. The line plot shows the number of pounds of fish eaten by each dolphin at the zoo. So it says, which stem and leaf plot best represents the data in the line plot? So this is an actual star question. It would give you an opportunity to see how this works out. So let's look at it. The first thing we need to do is don't forget to have no naked number lines, okay? If we cube it, we're going to have best representation of the data. It says don't forget to cubes. Don't forget to fill in the number line. Make sure you write the numbers out from the number line. So as you can see, we labeled the number line 18, 22, 26, 30, and 30. 30 and 34, okay? But there's spaces in between, so you got to know what numbers between 18 and 20, agreed? So notice there's 18, 18, 19, 20, 22, 26, 31, 31, 31, and 34. So for me, the first thing I'm going to look at is I'm going to look for the mode. 31, 31, 31. This one does not have 31 3 times. That's bad. This one does not have 31 at all. That's bad. This one has 31 3 times, and that one has 31 3 times. So I look and see what is different. This one has 8, 8, and it left off 19. It like threw it away. This one has the 19. It also has 34, whereas this one has 33. So I know that C is my correct answer. Remember to make your paper look like mine. So if you need to pause your video, go ahead and do so. All right, practice problem number 4. The 8th grade football team wants to create a stem and leaf plot with the scores of their games this season. The boys wrote their scores on the board. Help the boys create a stem and leaf plot with the scores from their game. All right. So we're going to create. A lot of times they'll say which graph represents this data, and you need to be able to create one so that you can tell if your graph matches theirs. So as you can see, we listed them from least to greatest. Remember, always count and make sure you listed them all. Then we have our stem and leaf plot. We've got all 2-digit numbers ranging from 12 all the way to 56. So I know my stems need to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I have 12 and 15, 21. I'm going to check them off as I put them in. 32, 32, 39, 40, 45, 50, 53, 56. Another thing to keep in mind when you're creating a stem and leaf plot, you want your leaves to line up, kind of like a bar graph. You wouldn't want the bar for 2 to be shorter than the bar for 3. Make sense? So I want to be able to say this is the first one, this is the second one, the third one lines up, and so forth and so on, so that I can see which one has the most data just by looking at it. So my key is 3 in the stem column. The bar, 2 in the leaf column equals 32 points. So this one says Charlie went to the grocery store for a bag of potatoes. He wants to know if each potato weighs the same. After he got done weighing each potato, Charlie wrote them down in his notebook. Help Charlie create a stem and leaf plot with the data. So notice here we've got a decimal, okay? So we wrote them down in order from least to greatest. And then the weight of the potatoes. Notice the key. 11 and the bar in 6 equals 11 and 6/10. Oh, another thing I want to tell you. When you're creating the key, this number here in the key has to be one of these numbers over here. I would not make the key for 15 and 9/10 because that's not one of my values. That's one of the rules that they probably don't tell you, but I'm telling you now. Always make your key one of the numbers given, okay? And as you can see, the stem and leaf plot, they line up real pretty. We've got 10 and 4/10, 10 and 5/10, 10 and 8/10. And so you can use the stem and leaf for decimals. It makes it easier to analyze the data this way than just looking at a list of values. All right, let's look at practice problem number 6. It says label the statements as true or false. We're looking at a sit-up competition. Now this is actually a star picture, okay? This is what's called a double stem and leaf. So as you can see, we've got Coach Johnson's class and we have Coach Edwards' class. And they're competing in sit-ups, okay? Who'd I kick? Hi, puppy. I don't know which one I was trying to get him to warm my toes, but he moved anyway. Okay. So you can see it's got a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in the middle. And notice over here on this key, it says 8 in the bar and 3 in the middle. So that's this value here, 3 and 8, represents 38 sit-ups. So this is your tens place. So the left side is weird. The right side is normal. So this is 20, 32, 38, 39, 44, 44, 44, 46, 52, 53, 58, 65, 65, 67, okay? The other side is what you're used to, 22, 23, 24, 34, 35, 36, 47, 48. And so the first question reads, and these are true or false, the range of Coach Johnson's data is greater than the range of Coach Edwards' data. And then the second one says there is no mode in the data for Coach Edwards' class. So always label, if you're given one, stem and leaf. And notice we've got our min, our other min. That's not our min though. 22 is our min. So this is incorrect. It's okay. We make mistakes, right? So that should be 22. So the range over here is 52. 74 is definitely the biggest. 78 is the biggest. So 78 minus 20 is 58. So that, Coach Johnson, this is actually true, even though that's supposed to be a 2. Okay. And then it says there's no mode. Mode is my most for Coach Edwards' class. Well, Coach Edwards' class is over here. I see repeating zeros here, so that is false. There is 2 modes in his class. Oh, let's find the other one. Oh, and one there. 65, 65, and 50, 50. Okay. And there are your notes for that particular page. Your ticket out is either in your packet or it is to be printed out from the website. Have a blessed day.